we got a pitch for a different, better Beetlejuice movie. You ready? I am. So we've got the Khans, Khan, who are moving into town. And they're an Indian family. By the way, y'all are like, oh, DEI, like, oh, let's put in diversity bullshit, da 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 da, which I'm for. But in that case, why the fuck wouldn't you have made movies about Indian people, is my question. About Indian people. Also the Native Americans, okay, chill out. But I'm saying, like, Indian folks love seeing movies. Bollywood is a much more profitable business model than Hollywood, okay? So if Hollywood were to make a blockbuster with an Indian family, you're going to make $1 billion. Period. Anyway, we got the Khans, okay? We got the whole Khan family, whole Khan clan moving into the Beetlejuice house, all right? So we've got the mom, we've got the dad, we've got 2 kids, an older daughter, younger son. Okay, the dad is Vineet Khan. He's a scientist, okay? And so is Virali Khan, the mom, all right? They're these high-end, like, scholarly scientists, okay? And they don't believe in that ghost bullshit. So they're trying to buy a house. They find the old Dietz's residence. The realtor is like, yeah, I can't sell this house. People think it's haunted. And the Khans are like, we don't believe in that bull. Okay, we're sound-minded scientists in this family, all right? No, we don't believe that. So no, of course we'll take the house. We love it. All right. So we've got Vineet is the dad, Virali is the mom, Triveni is the older sister. She's this very brooding, very on her phone, on her technology, earbuds in all of the time, teen. She's just in a mood, right? Normal for teens. But anyway, then we got young pup Devat, Daivat. I might be pronouncing that wrong. I'm doing my best. Devat, okay? Devat. So Triveni is like, she's, 16, okay? And then Devat is 13, so he's still kind of a cute little boy, right? The thing about Devat is that he actually, even though his mom and dad are these, like, very scholarly scientists who don't believe in that stupid ghost shit, okay? Devat loves folklore. He loves ghost stories. He's into all of it, okay? And mom and dad are like, they're like, oh, isn't that cute? Devat likes that fictional stuff that we don't believe in. And they're borderline rude about it, but, they try to be nice about it because he's their son and they love him. But anyway, so they move into this house. And Devat starts seeing ghosts. He sees the Maitlands. He tells his parents about it. By the way, I would also love for this movie to explore the Maitlands because they were, in fact, doomed to haunt their house for 125 years. And, like, if me and my fiance died and we were doomed to haunt our house for 125 years, I'd be like, tight, let's go. And they also were more inexperienced ghosts when we first met them. They had just died. And by now, it's been 36 years, so they're a little bit more seasoned at being ghosts, right? So anyway, he meets them, and the parents he tells the parents, and they're like, oh yeah, funny story, Devat. That's cute. Sure you did. But he also goes up and he finds the model, and he thinks it's really interesting, and he actually starts working on it. And something that I would like to speak to that I actually forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, the other video, if you're watching now, if you only just tuned in, is that I want to see parents of teens having a good relationship with those teens. Yeah, and I want it to improve even more by the end of the movie because I'm sick of seeing this, like, oh, I hate my teenage kid. Like, oh, I don't know how to take care of my teenage kid. Like, miss me with that shit, dude. We deserve to see healthy relationships of parents with teens. Okay, that's really important. But anyway, so Devat is doing the model. He's doing his thing. His parents are still, they're so logical. They have all these, important dinners with the logical, there's scientific folks who come meet up with them and that kind of thing. And meanwhile, Triveni, the older sister, I don't think she really even speaks. We just get nothing but attitude from her for the whole first half of the movie. But anyway, when At one point, Devot finds he's kind of exploring. He's not so much into the technology. He's exploring. He's looking around. He finds a dog. He finds what he presumes to be a stray dog, and he tries to bring it home. But the dog comes up to the front stairs of the house, and he won't go inside. Even though Devot has successfully given him food, and the dog has eaten it, the dog's like, bye, runs off. Because the house is haunted, and the house is really a star, right, of this movie. The house is a character in this movie, okay, that we're not going to ignore. I felt like in the second Beetlejuice movie, it was kind of ignored, and I feel like that kind of ruined this movie that I'm telling you about now, but I digress. Okay, so he's working on the model. He sometimes, has a little chat with the Maitlands. By the way, what I would love to do for the Maitlands is I would love for 2 new young pups. I think both Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin were like 30 or so when they were in the first Beetlejuice movie. I would love for 2 new young pups who look just like young Alec Baldwin and young Gina Davis to play those characters, okay? This movie clearly has a lot of staying power, and we need to hold tight to it and love it and make sure that it continues to have staying power. Anyway, so they're up in the attic doing their thing, and eventually Devot does in fact see Beetlejuice, okay? And it turns out that Beetlejuice is actually, I think they call him a demon in the movies, but he's actually really more of a poltergeist, if you ask me. He's kind of a poltergeist. What happens is he's like, oh, I'm gonna get to this kid, and he's like trying to get to him, and he appears to Devot, right? And then Devot tells his parents, and they're like, oh, that's concerning. It probably happens maybe more than once. And eventually he's like, well, and they've just moved to this town, right? I don't fucking know from where. Berkeley, doesn't matter. So he tells his parents, and then his parents are like, that's Devot, that's kind of concerning. Like, let's take you to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, right? So then they take him to one, okay? And he's still a young kid, and his parents are, more of the example to him than anyone. So he's telling the psychiatrist, psychologist, whoever the fuck, about, sorry, I should have done that bigger. Let me try. I want to be like Beetlejuice, don't I? That was okay. He tells his parents he's seen Beetlejuice. He's like, I saw this crazy demon, da 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 da. And his parents, okay, sorry, I told you this. He goes to the psychologist, and the psychologist is like analyzing him. He's telling the psychologist what's happening, and the parents are really hoping that the psychologist is like, okay, here, your kid has this. Here's some pills. Goodbye. What happens is the psychologist is like, did you move into the house on the hill, the white one? And Devot's like, yeah, why? And the psychologist is like, it just so happens that a lot of people in this town think that house is haunted. And he's like, what? And he looks into it a little bit more, or whatever the fuck, and the psychologist also, or psychiatrist, whatever, tells his parents, hey, I don't actually think Devot has any kind of problem, but Devot is like, well, you believe in ghosts? And the psychologist is like, yeah, I do. And so Devot is so annoyed with this and so upset that his parents won't believe him. And there's just so much tension in the car when they're going home that he goes the fuck home, and he goes up to the attic, and you know what he says? Beetlejuice, 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 to prove it to them that he's not fucking making this up. Okay? So then he's in there. And he's thrown into the afterlife, right? He's thrown into the afterlife with Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice wants to get him. He finds out that because Devot is, in fact, a minor, he's going to need consent from Devot's parents. And so, but Devot's parents, still, they don't know yet that Devot is missing, right? Okay? But then we can do we can have an important dinner. Maybe Devot left a note being like, I'll be back soon, Mom and Dad. And then they have an important dinner with some scholarly folks or whatever. And I love the Deo scene in the original Beetlejuice. So why don't we do that with a different banger from a similar time ago to when that song, whatever, to a similar song today as Deo. Okay? Actually, it's not called Deo. It's called Banana Bunch or something. But so they have this important dinner. And you know what song they all fucking start dancing and lip syncing to? Hold On by Wilson Phillips. And at this point, it's just getting ridiculous because the parents are like, yeah, we still don't believe in ghosts, so we still don't believe in poltergeist kind of thing, like, but, and everyone's like, we had this weird, like, experience, like, why were we all, like, singing and dancing to the song? The parents are like, well, I think the words just kind of came to us, right? But it's, like, getting outrageous how much they're refusing to believe at this rate. Anyway, so they can't find Devot because he is in fact stuck in the afterlife. And then Barbara and Adam, Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are trying to help the parents. They're trying to help the sister find out where he is. And then they do successfully get them up into the attic. And then they find like a flyer or whatever the heck that says Beetlejuice, say Beetlejuice 3 times on it. And they're like, what is this nonsense? And they say it without thinking. And then they too get swooped in the afterlife, right? But it turns out within the rules, the laws of the land or whatever the heck in the afterlife, like I said, Beetlejuice needs consent from the parents in order to get the life of this child, Devot, okay? And I just want to play up the like trickster manipulation that's going to happen with Beetlejuice, because that's what poltergeists do, is they trick you, and that's also what demons do, is they trick you into thinking that you're thinking whatever you're thinking or whatever the heck, right? Anyway. Wow, I can't wait to shower. Okay. So, mom and dad are sucked in the afterlife, right? But the sister, Treveni, she's like, oh man, what's going on here? Where is my family? Where is my brother? Where are my parents? And she actually starts getting ads on her electronics for Beetlejuice. And she's like, what? She finds out, and then she goes to like the hardware store or whatever the heck, wherever Devot was going to get stuff for the models. She finds out that the house is also haunted, and she's like, oh no, what do I do? How can I save my family? And what happens is she's able to get in contact with the Dietzes. Okay, she gets in contact with them, and she's like, come help me, I need your help. And they're like, okay, here we are. And like, there's that big reveal, right? There's the big reveal of like Lydia coming back, or like, here I am, right? Okay. And maybe she also finds the handbook and meets the Maitlands because they're trying to help. But Lydia has arrived, right? And in the afterlife, with Beetlejuice wreaking havoc and, pulling on Devot and his parents' heartstrings, maybe he has them meet great grandma or someone who they loved very much. He is getting Devot to sign this document, but in the middle of his signature, Lydia has already showed up and she says, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And then Beetlejuice is all fucking torn because he wants to get with Lydia. He's still in love with her, but he's also trying to get the life of this child. And with Treveni's help and Lydia's help, they're able to defeat Beetlejuice and carry on living their lives. And Treveni stops going on the phone and shit as much. She's less of a brooding teenager. She's closer to her family. And both of the parents are also more willing to entertain these kind of beliefs. And of course, now they believe Devot for having seen Beetlejuice. And I made this rule up that Beetlejuice only has to be defeated one time by the residents of the home. Okay? So, as soon as they defeat him, right, that one time, then he's going to have to wait until the next group of people moves into the house. Okay? So, thank you for coming to my new better idea for a Beetlejuice movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.